Oh my goodness. Anyways, everyone, this is our first guest, DemonQueenAzazel. Say hello, Azazel. Say hello to the chat.
No, okay. Hi, guys.
so
yeah, introduce yourself.
Yeah, introduce yourself. Yeah, the floor is yours for next.
I am store. They had like really good food at the dining hall tonight because they were trying to honor Black History Month. So they ordered they had like a bunch of like Detroit style pizzas and whatnot, great mac and cheese. I ate too much food.
Oh, nice.
And
food sounds good, actually.
Hi, bitches.
Oh, she's got hands. Oh no.
Oh, you got hands.
She's got.
I sold my fucking I sold my Leap Motion a while ago because it just bugged out all the time and I fucking hated it.
No, yeah. Honestly, like I thought about selling this one as well. Like it was like one of those immediate buyer's regret things. But like I had bought it for $80. But if you think about it, eating out like 5 times is like more than $80. So I just have to not eat out 5 times. That's all I got to do.
You know, that's a very good way to think about that.
It really is, actually. Yeah, like how much is a shirt gonna cost me? 5 Big Macs? Not helping. Not worth it.
Yeah. I mean.
So, Azazel, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself to everyone watching.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Azazel. I've been a VTuber for about 1.5 years. I'm on the path of recovery, and I'm joking. No, I do definitely consider myself a VTuber. Been streaming for about 5 years now, and I've just been I'm recovering from my so is a wrong time to say I've been recovering from mental breakdown and burnout and all that. But no, I do variety content. I started with Beat Saber. We can talk more about history later. But like yeah, I just stream whenever I want, whatever I want, and it obviously does not really do that good in this type of streaming environment. Meta, yeah. So, but no, that's just me. I just exist. That's really it.
So you said you've been streaming for 5 years?
No,
Yeah,
1.5 years.
1.5. I was like, wow, Azazel streamed for 4. I was like, what?
Yeah, I heard 5 years. I'm sorry. Like, oh my god.
I got a friend who's actually been streaming for 5 years, and she objectively just makes better content than me. She's just not as outspoken as I am, so it doesn't come across as well.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, like streaming for 5 years or streaming for like a year and a half, like that's a pretty like big experience differential.
Yeah,
that's bonkers. Like there's streamers who have been streaming for like 10 plus years at this point.
Yeah, and the ones that do like 10 plus years at that point are doing it as a career.
I can't even touch my face without. This was a mistake. I can't touch my face and agitated nose without my hand just freaking out.
Yeah, that's a Leap Motion for you.
Happens to the best of us.
But yeah, I know. I wanted to talk a little bit. I guess one of the main topics I wanted to talk about was just mainly like mental health and like content creation. So it's like, do you feel that like Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that? Do you feel like it like spurs burnout? Like, do you find like that kind of job hard?
Yeah,
because it's like.
It's a hard question to ask. Wow, we're really just jumping into it, I guess.
Yeah,
I may as well. Hey, may as well, yeah.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. So, I'd say if anything, what it is like, you know, the people up there will say no, it does not. But like, I would say it's not a product of how Twitch and YouTube are inherently designed. It's more of a product of how it's had to evolve and like and just the nature of very short-term audience attention spans. So I would say that, you know, the fact that there are people who stream every single day, there's so much content available and so much choice, and in order to like sort of make it right, like you have to make sure you're available, you have to build up that community, but like you're fighting for human attention, and human attention on these websites is finite because like there's only so many hours in the day that people can actually watch. There's only so many hours of the day you can stream. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes early streamers make out early on, is they think if I just stream more it'll be more chances for people to see me, and like yes, but actually no, you know?
Yeah, I feel that too, actually, because as someone who's been streaming since 2015, I can already tell you, like, Twitch was not the same place it was before that it is to it now. I think that's the way I phrase it. Yes, because how it is on Twitch right now, especially as as like a VTuber or as an animated character and whatnot, people are like looking for that serotonin and for that quick jolt of good, the feel good juice and whatnot in their brains of like when they watch somebody and like they don't get what they want, they just move it to the next person. And it wasn't really like that back in 2015, because back in 2015 when I first started, it was people looking for actual gaming content, not just for personality and whatnot. But nowadays people are looking for like the personalities that make them go like, oh no, oh woo, they're giving me attention and affection. Oh yay! Like you're right about that. The short attention span on Twitch is definitely something that is happening now these days, like more so than they used to be. Even back when VTubers started becoming a thing, like it was still like that too.
We can talk about early VTubing, because I have a lot to say about that.
I was also there, by the way. I was also there.
Were we all there? Ember, were you there?
So I started VTubing like April 2021. So I was like at the very tail end of the early days. But what I want to follow up with that on though is like, so do you feel that the bigger struggle for content creators is fighting the social media algorithm, or fighting, for like people's attention? Or do you feel like it kind of goes hand in hand? Like what do you think?
Well, the truth is, Ember, the game was rigged from the start.
She's not wrong.
It's everything. Yeah. It's really everything. So a little bit of background about me was that I wasn't really that much of a social media kind of person before I put on the mask. That's what the point of the mask is. Okay, no, that joke is for later. But the most social media I ever did was Steam, and then eventually it was Discord with like this small-ish artist I found that I knew on Tumblr, and then I just made like a bunch of online friends there. And what's infectious about when you get online friends there is, for the first time, you're guaranteed to basically find somebody that shares common interests in you. So I liked writing, but none of my friends in real life, I couldn't really find that many people who liked writing. You go into online friends, you join a writing circle, you start talking to people, suddenly, people are interested in your idea. And like that sort of attention is infectious. So I started streaming in, I think May, was it? May 2020.
That was about 2 months before me.
Yeah. So I started streaming then, and even then I wasn't really that big. I'd say the best I think for me, like the one thing I was like saying is I'm just gonna name drop her because I think she knows the story, and like I've talked to her about it. Dandy Floss, one of the bigger VTubers in like the small community right now, but like Kat. So basically, this was at a time when I was just doing Beat Saber stuff, and I found Dandy on a whim. And me being new to Twitch, I didn't really think of it that hard. I was her 100th follower. I got the VIP of it, and like when I first started out, I was all like, oh yeah, I'm going to try to get some of this person's audience to watch me. But then, like, I hung out with her often, and then, like, she had her own friend, and we all started talking about how to stream and get better at this point. At this point, we were all just avatar users, because we streamed Beat Saber. So, because we didn't want to set up an actual camera or whatnot, we just streamed up the avatar, because, we saw, like, Omote and all those people there. So, we were all very much Beat Saber streamers. Afterwards, I took a break because it was summer, and then, like, that's when I think HoloLive dropped. HoloLive Ian Drop made waves in terms of a lot of like people who are streaming, because then you realize, one, people like this, and like, yeah, people like this, even though it was like it had already been done. This was like a first big mainstream kind of thing that just rippled the community. So in August and like throughout the summer, I got really excited. I started designing my model. I started researching all this. I joined like a community called the Iron Lions. You might have heard of it.
Yeah.
Iron Lions. Yes.
Yeah, I was in it, right? And like that was when I found a lot of VTubing friends, and those were definitely the best days to be a VTuber, because it was new, it was fresh, a lot of new people interested in the idea, not a lot of tools available to do it, so everyone was just like trying to help one another. We were viewing models and everything. And so I come back and I start streaming, and when I start growing, like and I tell Dandy, right? It's like, hey, Dandy, there's this new trend going on called VTubers. You use an avatar to play games. Maybe you should rebrand to a VTuber and gain some of that notoriety or gain some of those like ride that wave even just for a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And so we start growing. Like she started like at 100 followers when I was at 0, and with the help of the Iron Lance I hit affiliate. I am scheduled to overtake Dandy, and I think I'm about like at 200 maybe 300 something followers, right? And like I'm feeling really good about myself because for once there was a period of my life where I was like, I genuinely like started hating myself for playing video games and wasting time. And even though like I was having a lot of fun, when I started streaming, because already games are my stress reliever. So I said, all right, not only are they stress reliever, I am building an audience that I can build and maybe make some money on the side while also having fun. So that was how I approached streaming for quite a long time. And what happens next is like, this is like what, fall 2020. I am in a college dorm. I'm an RA. I'm being a terrible RA because instead of spending time with my residents, I'm spending time streaming. And winter break happens, and because I don't want to pay for college again, I decide to move to China with my mom because my dad's like working there right now. So I decide, all right, let's just take a break semester from college, go to China. And because I'm in China for so long, I decide, all right, because I bring my computer with me. I lug this fucking who knows how many pound desktop PC in a bag with me to China. And it was, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure I got back from it, but it was worth it. But I was basically unemployed. There was nothing to do in China, and most of the places in China were still locked down. So I said, all right, with the power of VPN, I will, and I have nothing else to do, for once, I will try to do my all in streaming. And anyone who's watched me long enough knows what eventually happened. I started out also with the same optimism. I'm going to be playing video games. I started trying to make schedules. I started trying to do events. The big thing I did was this whole like XCOM VTuber game because I loved XCOM, and I thought if I can make VTubers in XCOM, that's a way to basically do collabs without having to do live collabs because I'm in China, the internet sucks, and internet's going out every once in a while, the quality is really shit, but people are still watching me. I'm still getting like moderately popular. And then eventually like I'm playing games, and about like April of 2021, that's when April, even May, that's when it hit me how much that's when the burnout started to hit me, and I was like, I am not having a fun time with this. I have done nothing but stay inside the house all day, going outside just to like across the street to get like food. I haven't explored China. I haven't done any of these fun things. This is not healthy for me. So I decided to take a break, and if you look at my numbers at this point, like the averages are starting to go down, and I take this personally because I'm doing full-time streaming. If the averages are going down, something wrong is happening. And for the next, like, until today, it's a series of I need to take a break. I start streaming for a little bit. I take a break because I'm moving or I need a break. And then it's just back and forth of break. I tell myself I'm going to take a break. Within, like, 2 weeks, I try streaming again. I'm miserable. I take a break. Stream again. Miserable. Come back. New game. Oh, I hate games now, miserable, and it's just been like this very vicious cycle that for some reason I keep coming back because all I can remember is the 2020 good days of when I was like very optimistic and I just genuinely enjoyed games. There was a magic with all the friends I made, all the games I experienced for the first time because I actually had a gaming PC for once in my life, and it's just been hard since then. So that's what burnout actually feels like, is you enjoyed this, but no matter what you do, you can no longer enjoy it. So that's my story. Oh, at the same time, Dandy skyrockets. I was set to overtake her. I take the break. She skyrockets. I lag much even further and further behind, which, to be fair, it's not that bad. But, like, you know, I've been doing this for 1.5 years. I haven't even hit 1K yet. I make friends with some other Apex streamer. She started in December of 2020, and by April, she had 2.5K followers, so that hurt. And then we were friends, and then we weren't, and then she kind of ghosted me, and that also really hurt. And so...
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we're on, like, decent terms now, we just never talk, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So,
that's how it goes.
it's so, like, really what streaming has showed me is that, Okay, hang on. I need to like emotionally recover because I like this is like
Yeah,
this is like a lot of a lot of bottled up stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It
It kind of felt like you just trauma dumped on us on stream.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, this is good. This is good because there was something that you said that stood out to me, and it's that you always sort of return to streaming because you remember those like early days of VTubing. Do you feel that like there has been sort of like a change in like do you feel like the VTuber community and how it's changed has contributed to your feeling of burnout?
I'm not sure if I can answer that properly because part of me is it's like, are these feelings of negativity coming from myself or are they coming from the community? And that's the one thing, because I'm the type of person who knows that like, okay, I can't fix society, let me fix myself first. So for me, my logic was always like those who's like the people who complain about other people for like their own problems, those are like the worst. But I could definitely feel myself becoming that because quite frankly, it was just very hard to be in this community sphere. Even though it wasn't that many people finding success, because of the way that I guess Twitter works or the way that followers work, whatnot, it always felt like there were so many people who were doing so much better than you, and like there was really that whole emphasis on the hustle culture, and I even participated in it, just saying that like, you know, it's like, oh, you just got to put in the hours, and like you gotta stream smart, but you also got to put in work and everything. And the community, it's hard to say because before I only stayed on Discord. I didn't get really into Twitter until 2020, until like the beginning of 2021, where I was in quarantine. I had really nothing else to do but browse Twitter and talk about people and everything. But it's definitely today maybe it's just because I follow more people, but it seems, I don't want to call it toxic, but it seems much more cutthroat than ever before.
Yes.
Everyone's looking for
it's way more toxic.
It's why I asked that, because it's like, as much as like, no, like, you know, you don't, of course, you know, you don't want to be, you know, the person who's like, oh, you know, bitching about other people and stuff like that, you know, right? But there's still that element of like when it's something that's content creation oriented, there's a community around that, and the structure of that community and the amount, like the sort of like the atmosphere of that community, you know, helps. It's like it's almost like a form of support for your own content. And if that community is toxic or it has a lot of toxic qualities, like I can see why that would discourage somebody. You know what I mean? Even if like you know, their content, you know, they're focusing on themselves, they're staying in their lane, I can see how that would still affect them, especially if you're like on Twitter where you're kind of just like seeing a lot of drama. You're either just seeing drama or seeing people's highlight reels. You know, you're not seeing like the work they're putting in, you know, just you're seeing people that are blowing up and you see drama. And honestly, that's kind of like most of what I see.
That's what I see as well, mostly as well. Like, when I was still part of the VTuber community, it's just like, it was nothing but like, it's like, oh, this person's doing a partner push, they blew up, yay! And then over here, it's like, and then this person over here also blew up, also it has a twit longer about them, and here's all this blah 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 blah. It's just like, it gets to the point where it's just like, you just want to step back from the community, from a. And by the way, this is not just for the VTuber community. You just want to step back from a community that you find like, oh, they're being really toxic and being really this way, I don't like that. You have to like step back from that and be like, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be. It's hard. It really is hard to acknowledge.
There's a lot of jealousy, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of jealousy.
Like, I'm guilty of that too.
I'm gonna try to say, like, jealousy inherently is not a bad thing to have.
I think it's normal.
Jealousy is completely a normal human emotion to have. However, though, what makes it worse though for some people is they want to take it too far and whatnot, because so let's say, for example, let's say you're jealous of somebody else being more successful. The right thing to do is be like, you know what, good on them, I'm gonna catch up. That's the right way of thinking about it.
I think it's not necessarily as much about catching up as much as it is about like acknowledging that when so like you just got to say to yourself, like, rising tides lift all
Yep.
you know, like, because the more another VTuber V streamer blows up, the more attention there is on that space in general.
Exactly.
You know, like, so that's something that, you know, could eventually trickle down to you, or it may not. But the best thing that you can do is just go in and be supportive of them. And we absolutely have to lift each other up. We have to lift each other up, and we have to encourage each other. And I think that's what Azazel's talking about with the early days, because in the early days, everyone did lift each other up. Everyone was supportive of each other.
As someone who's also part of that, there was a lot of that as well in the community.
Yeah.
Like, we're all picking each other up and whatnots. And unfortunately, it got to a point, like, after Hololive, that, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, the breaking point for people being jealous of each other and, like, trying to, like, break each other down was when Hololive debuted.
Yes, because then it became
a competition.
Then it became a competition, an industry, and it basically became industrialized. Because now, like, because you see all these VTubers graduating, and it's like 50% of them are graduating because of Burnout, and then the other 50% are graduating because they're getting bought out by a company.
Yeah,
you have all these companies that are buying out.
I would say it's closer to 80-20, because I'm not seeing a lot of VTubers being bought out by companies and whatnot. But when they do, it's just like, it's very, very noticeable. It hasn't really happened a whole lot.
Have you seen Nichi Sanji's roster though?
It's bonkers.
It's massive.
It's bonkers. It is massive. Yeah.
How do people keep up with that? How could that be profitable for them?
Also, and another thing about it, when you really think about this, if we're all streaming, how could the audience keep up with us? The problem with this universe is that its resources are finite. I slipped into Thanos mode. Fuck. The problem with this inherent with the streaming is that our viewers are finite, and we, like, the VTubing wave started during COVID. That's when everybody was inside, and a lot of us, quite frankly, were ready to try out streaming because we had seen it work for other people before.
Exactly.
And so it was like, hey, I got time to spare. I got nothing else to do. Let's try streaming. And I do agree that you know, people, I still think people do lift each other up now. I personally think that because we've been here for a while, that one, because like we've followed more people, it's harder to see the lifting up, and two, we've changed. I know for a fact that I've changed because I have become just much more cynical towards everything. And what's interesting, I do think what happens when you stream though is that a lot of people who started out streaming because they thought it'd be cool, they learn a lot about themselves. So
yes, they do.
You start to learn about your habits, what you really like, how you deal with these certain situations and whatnot. And like, if this is your first time entering a sphere like this, you're going to discover some things about yourself that you may not like. I know for a fact that I am super greedy, but I am not willing to put in a lot of the work because of how tired I am. I'm just more ready to consume more than anything else that I'm ready to give back. I think the only reason why I even did as well as the streaming as I did was because anytime I was consuming something, I just don't know when to shut up. So I'm able to talk to myself and do really good solo streams and whatnot. But like, I think a lot of people are graduating is because they do this because they think it's cool. It's like everything. You do it because you think it's cool. Then you kind of step back and you realize this isn't for me, or this isn't sustainable for myself. And as you learn about yourself, you decide to take a step back. And the hard part, of course, like we mentioned earlier, is letting go. Is that like, okay, I know it's not good for me, but I have all these great memories. Like, I know smoking is not good for me. I know drinking alcohol is not good for me. But remember these moments where I felt really, really good? What if I could just replicate that? Maybe I just got to keep trying it. And no.
Yeah, I relate it too, because back when I first started VTubing, I had so many great memories from like July into August, and then I took a break for a month, and you know, it's basically did some like realizing myself, and then in September, October is when I came back, and that's when everything blew up for me, because that's when I started discovering other people, making friends, doing streams every day with people, you know, having basically on a constant high. And then I'm in the same boat as you, Zazel. Like, the reason I'm still streaming to this day is to get back to that, you know, that constant high I had, but also at a more controlled rate, because I'm not gonna lie, back in the day I was part of that Sigma grind set, stream every day for 5 hours.
It's like and I liked your analogy, Azazel, of like, of like the smoking and the drinking, right? Because it's like a lot of people don't recognize this, especially in our heavily, our in our society that's big on like exceptionalism. But like workaholism is also really damaging, and this is something I've been coming to learn myself as someone who's a business owner and someone who's a streamer. I've learned that being a workaholic is almost as bad as being an alcoholic, honestly. Like I've missed out on some like very important moments and missed out on a lot of like family time that I'm just never going to get back, because I just kept thinking like, well, if I just keep pushing, if I keep, I got to keep working, I got to keep being productive, and it's just it's not sustainable, and it's not what is there in life, and I understand, for some people, VTubing is like all they have, or all they feel they have, or streaming for that matter.
We also got to remember, we're also getting to the point of where the pandemic is getting to a close. Ish. I'm saying that. I'm saying that with some. I'm saying that as I knock on wood over here, but like we're getting to the point where people are like having to go back to work and are able to go outside again, able to like do this and that while in the public again, and so that's why a lot of streamers are basically working and then having a full-time streaming job and whatnot, doing both at the same time, and. You're gonna start noticing a lot of people who are like more burnt out, more tired, more not willing to like go on stream, and it's basically what's gonna happen eventually this year. And I talked to Ember about this before, I do believe, where there's gonna be a massive blow up, not like the blow up we're thinking of, but like a bad blow up of like the VTubing scene where people are going to like. There's been a mass exodus of people who are graduating, not like there already has been happening.
I feel like that has been happening already in a lot of ways.
We've already seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like, so it's like I feel like what's going on with the VTuber community for the most part is just everyone's expressing burnout, and they're expressing it in different ways. Some of them are lashing out, some of them are graduating, some of them are or just putting in double the work, doubling down on their shit. Yeah, like I see so many parallels. To the music industry, because I've worked in the music industry for about 5-6 years. I did a bit of it in college. I have a lot of experience in the music industry. I did publicity. I worked in management. I even worked in distribution of records and stuff. Like I worked with record company, and I have also helped to run anime conventions, and I've worked really closely with a lot of voice actors and stuff like that. So like I see firsthand how how the entertainment industry, when it becomes like a heavily commercialized and corporatized thing, what it can do to people. And I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. And it's one thing that really discouraged me, actually, because I actually got into VTubing and streaming because I wanted to get back in entertainment, but I didn't want to have like corporate involvement. I didn't want to have like politics or like any of that dumb bullshit. I just wanted to go in and like make my shit and whatever. And it's just like to see the community kind of evolve into like being like super hyper corporatized, with all these companies getting involved and buying out talent, and seeing like a lot of burnout, a lot of like people lashing out at each other, jealousy, twitlongers and shit like that. And it's just like, man, like, damn, this is literally a shame shit I've put up with working in the music industry. This is kind of sad.
Also, Ember, I think your mic had a blow it there real quickly, because that
it blew up.
Yeah, I don't know. It got a little loud on my end, but that's probably just me.
It's a tiny glitch. Don't worry about it.
But the TLDR is everyone who's a VTuber streamer wants to win. Yeah. They want to be a part of that idol culture, and they want to essentially be successful. Yeah. Like I don't think, like, out of all the VTubers I met, I haven't really met a single one who's like legit like, yep, I'm gonna be doing this as a hobby, it's just for fun. Most VTubers I know approach it on the perspective of it becoming a business, becoming something that's going to be part-time or full-time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like everyone I've talked to.
And
has
honestly,
had
like
that
I
attitude.
don't fault people for that because when you have a taste of that early success, it is invigorating. And I realized this about myself. Like I'm guilty. I made my own tweet longer where I kind of like had to come to terms with like my own shortcomings, but also like the kind of like thing I want to do. And the whole thing was that like no, it's not like no, I didn't just want to do this for like. I started out, I just want to do this as a hobby, but when you have a taste of that, when people are following you, when people are donating money, giving you money, subs, they're calling your name, they're tuning in for streams, that's invigorating. It is.
Yes.
It feels so fucking good, especially if you're like attention starved. But like and that's why it's always hard because everyone. I started out, I was like, oh, I just want to do this as a hobby, right? And then when I stopped being able to enjoy video games, I said, all right, if I don't have this as a hobby, at least I can grow my channel. That's what's gonna keep me streaming. And then I stopped growing. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the goddamn point? So
yeah,
and I don't honestly, it's like I don't fault people for switching to that mindset because that's the nature of working in this of doing this kind of like content creation, this sort of like hyper fast industries. Like it's basically mini celebrity culture, and if you feel that, it's like you want to, like, you'll never be that big, but you can be small big, and like, and surely you can achieve that, right? And if you work hard on it, which is why I think a lot of people fall into that trap, and like that's why I always say like the game is rigged from the start. No matter what, this is the natural selection of streaming. This is what it pushes people to do, and this is what it takes to make it and survive in this sort of space. Like, put any system and let it run for a long enough time, a meta evolves. The meta is basically just evolution without massive amounts of generations.
So Azazel, with that being said, because I see like you're kind of addressing something that's sort of like there's a lot of like expectations and stuff. What do you feel that like for VTubers and VTuber streamers, do you feel that the expectations of those streamers are higher than that of like someone who's a regular streamer?
That is so the problem with that is I don't actually watch enough streams to give you that a good enough answer. Mainly because I just stopped like it stopped being able to watch streams just because like jealousy. But it's interesting because here's my take on it, right? I want to say partially no, but partially yes. But that's also because of the way that VTubers are made. If you're a Call of Duty streamer and you decide to stream something else that you genuinely like, no one's gonna watch you because you've built up your identity as a Call of Duty streamer, unless you're big enough that they're no longer there for the game, but they're there for your personality. I think that's what happened to I don't know what the name was, but there was a guy who like had a burnout from streaming, stopped playing Battle Royales, he started playing Sea of Thieves, and his numbers tanked for a good while. But then, like, as people saw he was genuinely enjoying Sea of Thieves, his people came back, like, oh, this guy's having fun, right? As a small streamer, you don't have that luxury. Because when you lose everybody and you go to stream some game that there's not an existing audience for, no one's gonna find you because you don't have that sort of brand trust. Like, having a high amount of followers is a brand trust. I'm getting off topic. Sorry. Back to the VTuber thing.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, but like, I'd say what happens with VTubers is that the brand is more than just the game you play. It's the character you decide to put on. And if you betray that brand, if you betray that image, and your audience is there solely for that image, solely for that personality, it's gone, right? It's that it is gone. And that's what's interesting is that, like, and it's a delicate balance as well, because sometimes you have your brand, but then when you show something slightly different, if people like that, it kind of makes you even more attractive. But I'd say, like, what happens is, for most early streamers, they say it's all about personality, and in a sense that, but I feel like it's a very much a come for the game, stay for the personality. But with VTubers, at least, I feel like there's a meta shift where you come not just for the game, but the personality as well. So when they change up their content, there's a much bigger betrayal the viewer feels between the personality the streamers brought and then what they eventually get into, that I think the viewers are much harsher and willing to back away from that. And that's all because of the branding because VTubing is essentially branding a character and personality first and foremost.
I firmly believe that like I've already talked to some people about this before in the past, that like some people in the VTuber, like as a viewer in the VTuber community, a lot of people actually don't come for the personality nor like the game. They come for the looks of the model 100%. Like that, some people actually do that in the community as people who are fans of VTubers. They just go like, oh, is this model cutesy, or is this model lewd, and all this other stuff and whatnot. And people, like a lot of the viewers are kind of like that, or like they come for the model and not for anything else.
Yeah,
which is very unfortunate.
Yes, it's like I would say like for VTubing, I feel like I see the expectations being way higher, because it's like I mean, first of all, I have never seen so much piss thrown over like VTubers showing their IRL faces. I've never seen so much piss thrown over that shit. And it's just like between that and like just like all like the partner pushing, the numbers, like constant talk about numbers. Like I feel like the talk of numbers is constant. The discussion of numbers is constant in the Twitter space. You literally cannot avoid it. And it's like and it's like and at the same time it's a part of the conversation, because the VTuber community is different in a sense that it is a community based entirely of content creators. There isn't really like nearly as many as consumers as there are creators.
Yep.
And I feel like with where the community is now, I feel like in many ways it's kind of contributing to a lot of the burnout, because I mean, so like for someone outside looking in, right? Like, why, like, who would want to watch indie VTubers when there's just so much drama, there's so much narcissism, there's so much backstabbing that's just active?
Well, I have a counterpoint for that. The average VTuber fan, viewer, and whatnot doesn't go on Twitter.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, none of them are on Twitter right now. So they don't. Like,
I can already tell you a lot of like I can tell you right now, when I was still a VTuber, a lot of my viewers weren't from Twitter; they were from Twitch, and they never follow me on Twitter, so they didn't see like half of the shenanigans going on Twitter. Because unfortunately, it's a thing as well. Because whatever you have on Twitter doesn't translate to Twitch, and vice versa. That's just something we all have to realize. Because if you have 10,000 followers on Twitter, congratulations. Not maybe like 20 of those are coming to your Twitch streams, like straight up.
That's something I've noticed, is that there is a huge like
But that's the thing of like how like more or less like I said, like the average Twitch viewer isn't going to be on Twitter 100%.
Yes.
They're probably gonna be in YouTube, but not Twitter, not the social media experience now.
Yeah. It's a completely different space. I feel like that there's just no reason for them to be there.
Yeah. Unless it happens on Twitch, they do not care.
Or YouTube, yeah.
Or YouTube, yeah. That too.
I think I remember someone. There was one YouTuber I watched a lot that does like commentary on streaming stuff.
Kyo.
That said it very nicely. Twitter is kind of like the streamer's water cooler. It's like where like all the streamers come together at the water cooler to like talk about streamer shit. Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. From my experience, that's very accurate. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the people who I get like basic interactions from is other VTubers. I don't get it from random Joe Schmo like wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses.
Joe Schmo 69.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And because Twitter 100% is the water cooler for VTubers. Because again, like I get most of my interactions come from other VTubers or their communities, and even then, like that doesn't translate to Twitter. Because let's say, for example, like there's somebody I know who got twit-longered about on Twitter, but her view count didn't drop at all on Twitch. Because it wasn't even mentioned on Twitch, and Twitch viewers just don't care.
It's like with it kind of comes back to like Twitter culture, right? Because it's like it's kind of funny because like I'll see like I feel like a lot of VTubers spend a shit ton of time on Twitter.
Way too much
And
time.
like and some of them like focus on growing on Twitter to grow their stream.
Yeah.
Some of them are successful at because like I feel like artists do well on there. But if you're not like an artist or a model maker, it's just you're just kind of like
yeah, you're just like in the weeds at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's and what's interesting though is that like the occasional oh god, like all right, so some of my friends commented on this a few days ago, and like it was just our small bout of jealousy, but there was a guy who basically said, hey, I'm a new VTuber looking to make some friends, fresh account, got 200 something followers, male hoodie wearing motherfucking VTuber, and we like collectively a demon girl, like a cowboy western VTuber with a very nice model, and then like a bunny boy. Well, actually, the bunny boy wasn't mad, but the other two, we were mad because we remember how long it took for us to get fucking 100 followers. And look at this hoodie wearing motherfucker, and I'm like, ugh, this is not safe. And so like every single time, I always tell myself, I need to get off Twitter. I need to get off Twitter, and then I always fucking reinstall it, and I don't know why.
the Twitter game and the Twitch game are both completely different beasts. As someone who's played the Twitter game, completely different beasts. It doesn't translate well, and if you see someone do really well on Twitter, their chances are they're not going to do well on Twitch. I'm just saying that from like a matter of fact standpoint, not as a jealous foxy bitch.
it's like because the thing is, it's like with Twitter, it's hard. So it's like so with streaming, there's something called a sales funnel, right? So like you're basically at the bottom of the funnel is your stream. Because that's basically your product that you're trying to sell to people and convince them to go onto your stream. Because otherwise, if you're not marketing your stream, you're just hitting go live, you're not really going to reach anybody.
Yeah.
So you have to create a marketing funnel. And the thing is, with Twitter, it's hard to turn that into a marketing funnel because it's hard to lead Twitch people to your stream. It's hard to do that. Especially when it's just a streamer water cooler, whereas with like if you blow up, so that's why blowing up on Twitter isn't as significant as say like blowing up on TikTok or blowing up on YouTube, where it's something that's primarily content based and there's discoverability that brings people over to they like look at your content, they see that it's relevant to what you're doing. And they're like, all right, I'll give this person a follow on Twitch, and maybe next time they go live, I'll check them out.
That's the thing. That's the thing with Twitch is that I'm not gonna lie, gonna be completely honest with everyone. Followers are useless in Twitch, 100%. Because here's the thing, like,
sorry guys,
I'm just okay. Listen, okay, no. I am talking from a matter of fact perspective about analytics and outreach about how you get viewers on your Twitch accounts. I'm not saying my followers or your followers, anyone follows here, are useless. I'm just saying that number means jack when it's a big picture thing. Because here's the thing. If you look at the analytics, and 9 times out of 10, if you look at like it actually tells you where you got outreach the most. It will tell you how many people saw your go live on Twitch. That's how they get notifications. You'll notice that number is really low.
Yeah,
it's usually really low.
Yeah,
and it's so funny because like there was a couple other VTubers I know that observed this, but like fucking I don't know if you noticed this, but like I feel like I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, but I feel that VTubers that are like big on Twitter are like the most egotistical.
Oh, Jesus
like
Christ.
If they're big on Twitter and like nowhere else, like I feel like they're like the most narcissistic and egotistical, and usually the ones that stir up the most drama. Like I don't know. It's just I feel like there's like with some VTubers, like once they hit over like 1,000 followers, they just act like they're like a literal god.
Wait, but I am though.
I hit over 1,000 followers.
Yeah, we are though. Like, what are you saying, Ember? What are you saying here?
I've been stuck in the 120 range for like a very long time. Really discouraged.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Azazel and I are complete goddesses. What are you talking about? You're crazy.
I suppose so. I suppose so.
But I get
1,000 club.
I get what you're saying, and I was not ready for this can of worms to be open. But it is absolutely true that there are people who have like there are some people who have like big numbers on Twitch, not Twitch, Twitter, like big numbers for followings and whatnot, and all like acting as if like you're like very narcissistic, like as if they own the place, and you know, as of like, oh, I got to here because I did all this hard work. In reality, I just played the Twitter game.
Yeah,
and that's just how it is, unfortunately. It all gets to people's head that like they breathe that breath of fame and they just want to keep chasing it by being who they are, which is understandable because it's normal human behavior. Because let's say, for example, you get made queen for a day of like a town and you're very rich, like suddenly out of nowhere. What are you gonna do? You're gonna abuse your power. Like that's you're gonna flaunt it. Exactly. You're gonna
fucking great.
Yeah, because that's what the brain juices want. And that's unfortunately how it is for a lot of VTubers who get those big numbers of big interactions on Twitter. Like they may not say it, but their actions definitely say stuff. And now I'm gonna say right now, for prosperity's sake, on YouTube, for people who watch this on YouTube, I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm saying this is like right now. I'm gonna say
it's an observation.
It's an observation, and also a small percentage and whatnot. Like I'm not saying, hey, you have over 5,000 followers, you're a piece of shit. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if someone's saying you're acting like a dickhead, just listen to them.
chances are you are.
Yeah. It's like I feel like it kind of comes back down to like the VTuber community. We need to establish a healthy relationship with numbers. It's really important for us to establish it, because the thing is, it's like what happens is, I mean, let's be real, right? All like a lot of us VTubers and like, or like virtual streamers or whatever, like we're all a bunch of nerds. We're all a bunch of nerds, we're all a bunch of geeks, and like a lot of us have probably been put down a lot, growing up, bullied or whatever. And like when you're at a position where like, you go through life, you feel like you're not listened to, you feel like, no one cares about you, to all of a sudden you have like some, out of nowhere, you have social recognition, people, really admire you, people really look up to you. It's sort of like, it's going from one extreme to another. And that can be very, I could see where like it may cause some of these people to like disassociate and like not like see it realistically. You know what I mean? Because it's like, because in reality, right? Like, even if you have like, if you have like 10,000 followers, right? Like, you're still like the like Z-list of like Z-list, creators.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna like walk into like a bar and like people are like noticing you, be like, oh my god, look at this person's eating. like it's just not good. That's just not like, that's not what happens. Like
we're all a bunch of depressed queers who were bullied growing up, and now suddenly we're getting the right recognition we so rightly deserve, but also at the same time we don't know how to handle.
Yeah, and it's just it comes back down to it. I think that's why like some of these people get so disassociated from it, and may even like, and it may even be like one of the reasons why like twitlongers get written about some of these people, because they they have this they feel like they have power, and they abuse that, and they hurt people, and maybe they didn't intend for that to happen, but they ended up doing that because they just felt like they could get away with anything.
There is a psychological thing behind that, but I'm not getting into it. just know there is a psychological reason for that, and it's not good. But that's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Like, are you talking about like sociopaths? Yeah.
Not getting into that though.
Yeah,
not tonight.
Sociopaths and narcissism. That is something that is common in some of these individuals, but like not to psychoanalyze too much, of course.
However, though, I do want to ask, though, everyone here in this call on this podcast, on this debut episode, we've been like talking smack about VTubing community and streaming and whatnot as a whole. What do you think the positives are of streaming?
So, I mean,
please tell me.
I would say, going back to what I was talking about before, it's definitely like the charitableness of the Twitch community, and like the willingness to like give and the willingness to like help out people. Like, I don't know, like I feel like charity streams are just the most hypest shit ever, because it's just I feel like the Twitch community is so big about giving and giving back, and when you do a charity stream for a cause that you really like deeply care for and see people supporting that, like that's so fucking cool. Like, streaming by and far has renewed my interest in, you know, in social justice, and, you know, really working on like social issues and working on like societal issues and talking about like having like real discussions about shit, because like it's something that like it's stuff I care about. And for a time, when I was, you know, after I left high school and I started seeing more of the adult world, I felt cynical. I felt like I'm not able to change the world. I'm not able to do anything. I'm not able to make a difference, and that nothing matters anymore. And when I started streaming, I learned that wasn't true.
Yeah, I feel that, though. What about you, Azazel? What's your takeaway on streaming? As a positive, by the way.
Nah. It's hard to say that, because part of me really does feel hurt by streaming about like what I've had to do, what I've gone through, the emotions I've had. So personally, I have a much more messed up philosophy, for lack of a better word, in that like and I've like kind of detached myself from trying to like throw myself at any greater purpose. So really what for me, streaming regardless I think has always been about community. And I think the communities that streamers and games do build have done great things. They've, you know, obviously they build a great social justice. You've also built like a lot of great communities around games, like games that wouldn't have gotten popular normally have like gotten revitalized because of streaming. And just, I think in this world that we live in that is just always been so messed up, streaming has been just a nice reprieve from everything that we can see that's like cruel in the world. And obviously the problem with mixing Twitter with streaming is you get some of that cruelty back. So, but like in that moment when you're just talking to people, you're hanging out with whatnot, you're playing games and everything, it's an outlet for, I think, that a lot of people, socially awkward people and people who aren't able to fit in the real life, can find. And hopefully it's a step for people to take in the right direction, and unfortunately in reality I think it's not. Once people start watching streams, they keep going. But I think it does a lot of positive memories and like giving people just a little bit more human interaction, especially in a world currently plagued by the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think with streaming, like just building a community and like hopefully building a safe space for people who are like-minded or like love the content that you do. Like, you want people to feel safe in your community. Like that's just what people look for now these days online. They're just looking for like a nice, safe, cozy spot to hang out in, talk about their nerdy stuff, and just, you know, vibe with other people. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
yeah.
And if they really like the streamer they find on Twitch, then they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna hang out with this guy. Not hang out with the streamer, but hang out in this community and whatnot, because, you know, other like-minded people that obviously watch the same thing as you do. It's just like, hey, we all like the same thing. That's the best feeling in the world, though. As well, also as a streamer, it's like you just build a community. I'm like, yeah, I built this. Sorry, we built this.
I built this. Miku made this.
We built this. And also like there's also like a commitment as well to like streaming, like not only just like physically like pressing the like button and like talking to people like for like hours on end every day. There's also that emotional aspect as well of like where you have to like realize that you have to be in the right mindset yourself as a streamer to in order to make things entertaining, to talk to everybody, to make sure everybody's having a good time, not only just for you but for them as well, because sure you're the one doing the gaming and the commentary, but you also make sure that you're having fun as well. You can't be just doing it for the sake of doing it, for the sake of like it's your job. You gotta make sure you're having fun as well. Like if you're not having fun, then what's the point, really? In the end, like that's all it boils down to for me.
If you're not having fun, why bother?
It's just the emotional. There's like a lot of like emotional commitment with streaming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get into it, because it's like you're making this, you're basically building a brand, and you know and it's also one of those things where it's just when you're doing stuff like that, when you're building a brand, when you're creating what's essentially a product, you know, what I can say is, you know, as much as we rag on like the bads of the community, the good about the streaming community is that when you put yourself in the right crowd, you know, you surround yourself with the right people, you know, you have a community of people who want to see each other improve, that want to see each other do better, and are willing to give each other criticism, tell each other what to do to be better, what could you do to improve your streams, what you could do to be better as a person. You know, I feel like streaming is a really good way to be self-reflective, to learn to take feedback, to learn to improve as a person, improve and learn very valuable skills. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like, you learn video production, you learn video recording, editing,
you learn all
writing. You're like, that's shit you could put on a CV. You could put that on a CV. You absolutely could.
I'm sorry. I thought you said CD for a second. I'm like, we're making mix albums
like
now?
a resume.
We're making mix albums here. Hell yeah.
That's marketable skills. You know, like that's like there's a lot of very good things about that.
Exactly.
Like you're improving as a person. You're able to reflect on yourself in a deeper way, and you're learning very marketable skills.
There is one thing my job counselor told me, that like Twitch streaming, you absolutely can put in your resume that you're a public speaker, because that's essentially what you are doing in the end. You are being a public speaker in front of people. Public speaking doesn't necessarily just have to mean for people in person. So it definitely counts. Yes, 100% counts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, and like in this world of like, and like quite for lack of a better word, in this world of like really socially awkward people nowadays, it's like public speaking is really useful and like and really sought after in a lot of like other bigger tech jobs and whatnot.
Yeah, like I feel like I've been like, through streaming, I've been socializing a lot better.
Same.
Like I feel like I have become more outgoing. Like I'm able to conversate with people in public. I've been able to come off more confidently when I you know, have conversation with people. Like I definitely feel like it's helped me. Like the skills I've been learning for streaming has really helped me as a real estate agent, because I do real estate as like one of my side businesses, and like it's taught me to be way more confident when I talk to clients, you know, like way more confident. I'm able to speak more confidently. I'm able to speak more clearly, and be able to convey my ideas more coherently.
Same for me. Like when I worked at Spirit Halloween last year, I was able to talk to customers no problem. I was able to do like actually do staff meetings, like zero issue. Just call everyone over and be like, hey, everyone, we're doing staff meeting. Come on to the circle. I get everyone heads up, blah, blah, blah. And I just felt more confident talking to strangers. And also going back to the tech jobs as well that you two said, there's actually a couple tech jobs in my area. They're actually just hiring people who are able to publicly talk to publicly speak, more or less. Like they're asking for specific positions of public speakers, because not gonna lie, a lot of computer science nerds out there don't know how to socialize with other human beings.
I can confirm I am a computer scientist. It's no, like I'm good at it, but like I also spent almost 4 years as a diplomat, so I know that.
Yeah.
Diplomat?
As a diplomat.
Wait, whoa. As a diplomat?
Yeah, as a diplomat. We don't need to get into that.
No. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, like what?
All right. So, a fun fact about the human I am controlling, because to keep up appearances, for all intents and purposes, I am a demon controlling a person. But, forget it. I got a father in the U.S. military, so I am a supporter of the U.S. military because I am in it. I have a stake in it. But
Yes.
I've lived overseas multiple times, and for all of middle school, which is supposed to be the worst years of your life, imagine also moving to India for that. I spent 3 years in India, and as like from 11 to 13 years old, that fucks you up as a kid because you're seeing like kids who are younger than you starving, and it's like the whole thing of where you like that's I honestly where a lot of my nihilism come from is because like that's the whole starfish story. It's like, well, at least I saved this one starfish, and I'm like, yeah, go to sleep patting yourself on the back, kid. All those other starfish are still gonna die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm honestly, and it's sad. I'm a very negative person in that regard. But like, I was in India, and it's like, no matter what you did, nothing you did really inherently mattered, and that's why like I always like. Going forward, I'm either just going to become a complete shut-in and be like, all right, isolate myself from the world is cruel, but my home is nice, or go completely off the rails and become a politician, like, I'm changing this world because the world is fucked up. But while I was there, I met with a lot of, because it was an embassy school, so, because my parents were diplomats, we got to go to a lot of diplomatic meetings. We got to, like, we hosted houses, so whenever the other diplomat would bring their children, it was mine and my younger sister's job to entertain the children, because if we entertained the children would go back to the parents and say, oh, I had a great time, and that would help build the U.S. relationships.
That's cool.
And then later on in China, I went there much older this time. I met with like a lot of the other U.S. embassy people. I made really good friends with the Argentinian ambassador's son because he loves America. This kid knows, I think the 85. He knows, like, I'm pretty sure he knows like all 85 Federalist Papers by heart. And I'm like,
oh my god.
Okay, maybe not by heart, but he's studying diplomacy. He knows his stuff. When I talked about political theory and everything, he is so smart about it. But like in China, I basically, like, inadvertently, by starting to host poker games, I created a circle of international international children that all just kind of hung out together. We all took the subway to visit each other, went to each other's apartments, or we just went out like the clubs or just have fun and whatnot. And that circle is still alive after I left. So like, and like every diplomat that I've talked to, every once in a while they'll call to my mom like, hey, how was I don't want to dox myself with my real name doing? How is he doing? Because I'm not out. I'm still closeted transgender. But like, they're like, oh, how are they doing? And like, and my mom's like, they're always asking about you. You really made a good impression on that. And I'm like, yeah.
So what you're saying is that you made a real life Hetalia.
So
most of them are like Italian, but more South American focused.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but like, so like that's why like Twitch has helped me with that, talking out loud to people. But like, I think my background going into Twitch also helped me, so it's kind of been like a nice relationship to speak louder. I'll watch old VODs though, and I'll still realize I stumble over my words. Like, I cannot understand what I said there. Anyway, that's a little tangent.
That happens to most people.
Yeah, like as someone who has a speech impediment problem, I can't even say that word. Speech impediment problem.
Impediment's hard to pronounce.
It's hard to say. Like, who created that word? I'm gonna fight them.
It's like created specifically to make it hard for people with speech impediments to pronounce.
Yeah,
impediment.
Impediment. I can say it now, but I have one. I mumble and I talk fast when I'm nervous, or just do it in general. I also have issues enunciating words. So Azazel, I feel you on that. Don't worry. Yeah. I relate to you hard, homie.
Well, it's interesting though, because like, it's hard to say this. Like, I guess I'm the guest, so I'll toot my own horn now. It's like I think the background that you go into streaming really does affect your mindset about these things, and I think that's why I think for some people they're able. I think that's why some people are able to go through streaming very easily. Some of them end up being egomaniacs because they're taught that they're taught to be the best in real life. And then for me, even though like my Asian parents weren't actually that hard on me, at some point I started implicitly like putting more pressure on myself. And what that ended up happening was like if I wasn't getting numbers, I wasn't getting it. There was never a point to streaming, you know. And like that's a vicious cycle because like you should be streaming for fun, but you know, it's not all like that's not always the case sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people say like, oh, streaming, you know, it's like you can do it as just a hobby or treat it as just a hobby, but can it really be? I don't know. Like, what do you think about
Ember?
that?
Ember, you took my segue.
Yeah,
Ember, you took my segue, Ember.
we had all these talking points planned out beforehand. There is no no. No, it's fine. No, it is good. It depends. It really depends on the person. If you're hard on yourself, if you expect to get if you like, I thought I could do as a hobby, and then I realized I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna do something, I wanted to do it well. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna do it. Period. Like, what's the point of me doing this? But if you're And like you're gonna realize that about yourself when you start streaming. You're gonna realize, do I truly like doing things as a hobby, or is my mind going to get shifted into the number mindset? Or even if I try to keep my mind off of that, am I just gonna start looking at those numbers anyway because I need a measurement of my own progress to know that I'm good? The same way that when you draw something, you have the need to get praise so that way you know you did a good job. That is what numbers are to streamers.
For me, like 100%, I used to view streaming as a job, but now like over the time as time goes on and I get like a little wiser, I'm just gonna treat it as a hobby because the more I treat it as a job, the more stressed out I get and more anxiety I used to get and more breakdowns I have. But I'm not gonna lie, like the moment I turn to a hobby and start streaming only like 2 days a week and like they're longer streams and just having friends on with me as we play games together, I became more relaxed, more myself, more like not worried about like, you know, am I gonna get a high sub count? Am I getting high view count and whatnot? To me, changing that mindset was really difficult though, not gonna lie, because I had a lot of like that competitiveness in me. It's just like, no, I gotta do better than these other people, blah blah blah. It's like, no. I'm not like that anymore. I'm just gonna be me. It's a hobby that pays me, which is a good thing, because as someone who used to play a lot of like Warhammer 40k, and that was a massive hobby for me, I got paid to build and paint models for people. So you know, it like I said, it became a hobby where I got paid for it. So, and honestly, that's just the way you look at it. Like if you're like sub like 20 viewer count, 20 concurrent viewer count, just treat it as a hobby. Don't push yourself and whatnot. Just
also,
do what
just
you
so
gotta
you
do.
know, I need to step out for like 5 minutes.
Oh, how dare you!
Yes, I'll be right back.
Fucking hell, sub 20. I can't even get 10.
It's still the case of like you just treat it as a hobby, like that does pay you occasionally, like, and you're just able to like treat back to your viewers and like in forms of like emotes, in forms of like community events, in forms of like doing really wacky shit for your community, you know? Like, I don't know, like I have a weird outlook on like Twitch when I'm way more optimistic view than most people, where it's just like a case of like, hey, it's a hobby, I make friends, I make a community, fun stuff happens, let's just give her, you know? Like that's the way I see it. And if I suddenly blow up with like a bunch of viewers and whatnot and get like the partner, then I'll treat it like a job. Like, but till that point, it's just like, it's a hobby for me. It's I'm not gonna stress myself over it. When I have a bajillion other things to worry about. That's basically it for me.
Yeah, and that's a really good mindset to have. The one thing I will say, and I wish Ember was here to hear this, but like what I realized about myself after talking. Actually, that's another thing. the one thing that was great about the VTuber community was there's so many people of different professions that I ended up making friends with someone who was a certified life coach, and they really helped me through my burnout. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Inari. Yeah, Violet Inari, give her a little shout out here. But yeah, so she was really helpful to me.
That's good.
And like and helping me out. But like what I realized was as I was like getting into more streaming and whatnot, I couldn't. The reason why I was stressing myself out so much was because I'm at a period of my life where everything is so objective based. You know, I gotta apply for jobs, I gotta graduate, I gotta like do these assignments done. And video games are an objective based form of entertainment. When I was younger, and I got all my schoolwork done very easily, where I was kind of bored with life, video games was a nice way to stress out. It was a different kind of objective. Now that I'm just constantly stressed out, the last thing I need is more objectives on my plate. So that's why like recently, like like watching anime, TV shows, reading manga, that's been the best de-stressor ever because there's no expectations for me to achieve anything when I'm doing these tasks. So they're so easy to just enjoy and do.
Yeah.
So, if anyone out there is, and like, of course, that doesn't really help out with the streaming situation because, like, it's one, copyright issues, and two, it's like writing streams don't do that well. Like, I've had actually some decent luck with doing homework streams of all things, which has been pretty.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually because you've been doing like game dev streams and whatnot recently. Yeah. And those have been doing really well for you.
yeah, like compared to like other things before, yeah. It's like because at some point I eventually just start singing karaoke and like that's always fun.
Karaoke's amazing.
yeah, I just start singing while I play. Something hilarious though, I have to say, I got banned from the class's Discord because I swore too much. And I lost 5. Yeah, and I lost like 5 points on my 5 of my 30 points for my class participation grade for swearing too much.
That really sucks though.
No, it does suck, but like there's so many more points that I can get, so I'm not too worried about it. But like I just like did it have to happen during spring break when this is the time to be asking around and forming fucking groups? Like that's what really hurts. Is that like I won't be able to like I won't be able to form a group or whatnot.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, but it was funny. I think part of me is like it's kind of funny that I got banned for swearing too much.
Which is funny because like as a Canadian, that's not a problem for any of us. We say like motherfucking sailors up in Canada.
Well,
like
no, I mean, like the teacher's a very nice spoken man. He's like he wants to include positivity, and I'm pretty sure like part of that means like I'm pretty sure he's the kind he thinks that like swearing just like is like one of the bad parts of like the gaming community, so he's trying to keep that out of his class.
Oh my God.
And honestly, it's a very noble. It's a very I don't mind it because it's like this class is stressful enough. The last thing we need is like a bunch of potty mouths in the Discord. It's a Discord server, okay? If he doesn't like put his foot down, it's gonna get bad real fast.
which is weird because swearing is not a problem in just the gaming in general. It's like everyone swears, like especially in the countryside. Like I grew up in the country as a kid. Every second word was a fucking swear. Like that's where I get it from. Not gonna lie. It's hard to get out of, especially it's like there's a picture I saw where it's like I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm Canadian. I have to swear. Like it's in my blood. You do not understand.
I find it funny though that the stereotype of Canadians is that they're really nice people.
Oh, we're nice.
Yeah, it's just that like, oh wait, you guys swear like sailors.
Oh yeah, we'll be like
does not compute.
well, people will be like asking us for directions. They'll be like, oh yeah, it's just fucking down the road down their way, but like maybe 5 click or so. But you gotta watch out for the fucking bears out there. Yeah, you do fine there. Don't worry about it, bud. Like that's how we swear though. Like. Yeah, I'm sorry, my Canadian accent came out. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't worry. No, I see the problem. So that's the one thing is that oh god, I don't know accents. I legitimately do not know accents. I struggle to like know. Is that one Canadian or is that which one is it? Which one is it?
No, that was 100% Canadian.
Is it British or the Canadian?
It was 100% Canadian.
Okay. Something else like I think really fun though is that my mom and sister are really good at like picking up facial structures for the types of Asians out there.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't know how they do it. Like they look at someone they know and they're like, oh like that's that's a Korean person, that's a Chinese person, that's a Japanese person. I'm like, okay, maybe with Chinese I can see, but like the Korean and the Japanese, it's a bit harder for me to do. But like even the Southeast Asian, they'll know like, oh yeah, they're Thai, they're Filipino, they're Cambodian,
that's
they're Vietnamese.
that's insane.
And I'm like, how the fuck can you do that? Like I see a tanned Asian person and I immediately default to Filipino because I'm from Hawaii, because I graduated from Hawaii. Like, yeah, I graduated from Hawaii. I've been all over the world. And there's just a good number of Filipinos there.
Yeah.
So like that's what I default to.
As a Native American, I being a Native American, people have mistaken me for so many other things. Welcome back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Like, I've been mistaken for Japanese, Filipino, let's see here, Cambodian, Vietnamese, let's see what else is there. That's Mexican. It's like, yeah, no, you guys are way off with what I am. I'm Native American, everyone. I'm Aboriginal. Like, geez, people, come on now. Also, welcome back, Ember. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So if you could you like catch me up real quick? I was gone for like 5 minutes.
I think like the most notable thing I said was that there's a whole philosophy on the reason why some of us stop enjoying video games, in my opinion, is that we live in objective based. Like, a lot of our tasks are objective based, and video games are objective based entertainment. That doesn't really bode well if you're trying to relax and all that, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, because I've had the same thing. Like, I saw you talk about it on Twitter, and I saw like this. I noticed the same thing happens to me when I hit burnout, where like I'll stop enjoying video games and I'll be kind of caught in this. Well, for me, it stretches to more than just video games, right? Like, I have a hard time enjoying video games. I have a hard time, like, I can't even like I can't fucking like pick up a guitar and play something. I can't like model something or do something for the stream or anything like that. Like, I just feel like it's like you feel like a paralysis. Like, you feel like a paralysis, like you can't enjoy shit.
Yeah, you feel
because
numb.
it's like you're so like mentally exhausted that it's just, it takes too much energy to even like sit back and play fucking video game.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, it feels like an energy thing more so than like this is objective based and similar. But I do feel that way with some games. Like if I'm tired, I like, or if I like just am not in the mood for it, like I can't play like hyper objective based games like, you know, MMOs or maybe like fighting games or something like that, where it takes like a lot of concentration, a lot of like objectives involved.
Yeah.
But like but could I play something relaxing like fucking Minecraft? Fuck yeah.
I'll punch trees all day.
Yeah, punch those motherfucking trees. But like for me, that's kind of how it feels, where it's like when you're burning out, it's like you can't enjoy anything because you're so mentally exhausted. And I don't know, like for like it's definitely a pretty like widespread problem, especially like in our society. Like I feel like there's definitely like a big like hustle culture has been a big thing, and especially like with COVID and everything. Like I don't know about y'all, but like I've noticed a lot of people hopped onto streaming like after they would get fired from their jobs, or like
100%.
or like as a way of like generating revenue, or like, you know, like primarily like just saying like, all right, you know, I got fired or something, or this happened, I'm gonna just jump into streaming. Which, by the way, like this is something that like a concept, like when I see people do that, it like deeply concerns me.
Oh, I get concerned.
Like,
yeah,
because I'm like, because like as someone who, you know, I quit my job to run a business full time during COVID. I quit my job like August 2020 to do my job full time, and I'm almost 2 years in the game and I'm still alive. So hey, but like it's like doing that was so terrifying to me in concept, even though like I had a couple grand in my savings to account for like any unforeseen like things that would happen, or if I was short on, you know, revenue for a month, it wouldn't be the end of the world, you know. And I always had stuff in my back pocket like DoorDash or like Uber Eats, you know, which by the way, like it's pretty good hustle, like if you want like some side cash. But it's like,
does it actually pay enough, or do you? Because I like my perspective about like the DoorDash Uber Eats thing has always been like it feels very exploitive.
So
every time I've seen it.
So I mean, you can argue that it is, but at the same time, like, if you're in a low cost of living area or if you're getting paid garbage, it's better. Like, because at my old job, I was paid $12.50 an hour. So, like, I made so little money, and I was getting by so little to the point where, like, honestly, I remember there was times where, like, DoorDash was just fucking lit, you know, either, like, around a holiday or something. And it was just, I just made way more money just going out and doing DoorDash instead of going to work. So I wouldn't go to work. I would leave work to do DoorDash because it's just like, well, I mean, like, it's a high traffic day. Or they would, or like, so how DoorDash operates is that they operate where, like, they have what's called, they basically have hours where, like, if you're delivering at certain hours, they will pay you a set amount of dollars more. And some days they will make that amount more. Like, sometimes they'll pay you up to like $4, like $4 to $5 or even more extra per delivery. And that's like a lot of fucking money.
Wow.
So,
Yeah,
like, if there's a high like pay bonus period, I will take work off to just do that just because it paid me more. So it was like I was at a point where I was like, yeah, I'm taking time off work to do DoorDash because it pays me better. I'm like, can I really do any worse? I'm like, could I really, like,
Not really.
like, am I really all that worse off quitting that job to do like my thing full time? I was like, yeah, I'm like, that's about the bottom barrels I can get. So you know what? Like, that's like, it's not too bad. Like if you're in a low cost of living area and you're getting paid trash, like, you could absolutely like do like
There's
DoorDash or Uber Eats,
YouTubers,
you know?
I remember watching her, like, did DoorDash for 24 hours and these were the results. And it's just like, it's always like, yeah, I made $500 at DoorDash in 24 hours. It was like, yeah, where do you live though?
It's very dependent on where you live.
Yeah,
but
exactly. It's not a go-to
regardless-
solution. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a go-to solution. Like, if you're like in a very like rural area or whatever. But for myself, it's been, I mean, after COVID, honestly, like, DoorDash and delivery is just, it's hotter than ever. Like, honestly, it's pretty hot to do. And like, but also you get a lot of delivery drivers. But again, like, with unemployment going steadily back to normal, that's been less of a problem.
Yeah.
But like, but it's still, like, the demand is still there. So honestly, there's like some pretty fucking good opportunity there. And like, honestly, like it's a really good fallback for myself. And I'm still registered as a DoorDasher, an Uber Eats driver, and everything, just because I'm like, well, if anything ever happens to my business, that's like a solid ass fucking fallback.
Well, there you go.
Like, so it's like, it's honestly just, it's nice to have. And like, yeah, if you're getting paid garbage, honestly, it might actually pay you better than your job. Of course, you got to know how to manage taxes, manage expenses, and stuff like that. Obviously, you want to have that knowledge on your belt. But apart from that, I mean, it's damn good. Like,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, but only if you're like in a low cost of living area.
Do you want to say it is getting close to 9:30? If everybody in chat who is still here, go and ask some questions. We'll be glad to answer them regardless of. I'm wording this wrong. Wow. Hi. Regarding earlier topics, if you have any questions regarding any of those, go ahead and ask them. Well, we acknowledge you now, chat.
Yeah, if anyone has questions for Azazel.
Yeah, and any questions. I'm not sure how many people are here, but that's okay. If you're here and you're lurking, I love you.
Yeah. But what would you say? So, like, we've been talking about burnout a lot and stuff like that. You know, what would you say is a good cure for burnout? Like, when you're burnt out, what did you find was effective for you?
Sleep.
No video games. I just stopped playing. I'm pretty sure people want a better solution to that, but I got nothing, and I'm sorry. It's like, I stopped playing video games because I realized they were not making me happy anymore, and I've been happy because, yeah, video games don't make me happy. Whoops. Sorry. No magic solution here.
Man, my answer is completely different than yours. Completely different than yours, Azazel.
So it's like you just kind of stopped doing things.
Yeah, I just stopped. Like, the concept of doing nothing, you think you know what it means to do nothing, but you actually don't. To actually do nothing is very weird. It's very weird to feel like, I don't even know how to.
I've been there. It's like when
yeah.
you're like staring at an empty desktop for like 2 hours, and you're like, I want to play a game, but I don't feel like I can.
I don't
Mhm.
want to play a game, right? It's like
I don't want to play.
want-
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
right?
don't know what to do, so I'm just kind of looking at my desktop for like 2 hours, or I'm
Mhm.
scrolling or doom scrolling for like 2 hours.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel that though. I mean, my answer for like burnout literally is just like I didn't stream for like what's it, like 3 months, I think it was. I didn't stream for more or less, and I just took a break. And reason I came back to streaming was like, hey, wait a minute, I don't have to schedule myself. That was basically it. Like, stop making schedules for yourself. That's my cure for burnout for me. That's just me though.
Yeah, it's like for myself, I found yes, taking breaks. I think everyone should take like a hiatus, certain parts of the year.
Mhm.
Just because like I feel like it's just good to like take like a 2-week break a couple times a year, just to collect new ideas, to brainstorm, to come up with new fresh ways to like do your content.
Mhm.
Like I feel like that's always very important to do. And like taking breaks obviously is good. Honestly, like fucking touching grass.
Yes.
Like when,
touch grass.
when I get like stuck, like when I'm stuck in a burnout loop, I find the best fucking cure is just like, all right, I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna go for a walk.
Yep.
Like
Same.
that, it just clears my fucking mind. It's just something about it is almost like meditative, like just going for a walk, looking around, enjoying nature, or if you're
Snow.
in an urban area, I don't know, enjoying the buildings. I don't know. I never really lived in a city. So,
I listen to music when everyone walks around, and I
listen to music. Yeah,
I just vibe to what I'm listening to while walking around for like an hour to 2 hours. I'm just like, I'm on this side of the city. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like for myself, I love like being in nature and just breathing in some fresh air, touching some fucking grass just really fucking helps me. It just really helps. Like, okay, all right, I'm getting the ideas flowing again. I'm feeling like, so usually if I go out for a walk for like an hour, get some fresh air and stuff, usually when I get back in, I'm motivated to do something. Maybe it's something as little as just like maybe playing a video game, or like just doing anything, but it's better than doing nothing.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Not just that, but like, I think the one thing that a lot of people agree on is that humans are naturally social creatures, and I don't think the human race wasn't meant to live indoors like this. That's just like, honestly, I genuinely believe that like there's a lot of this indoor living. It's good in moderation. I like doing it. I like having fun, but and I consider myself an introvert. But God, like when we say, we don't just mean touch grass. We also mean go outside and just like be around other people. But maybe I'm biased because I'm in college, so I feel like I can say that. But like, it just does wonders for the soul and all that. Just go outside.
Back when I lived in Winnipeg, when I was like a massive shut-in, I used to go to like some of the malls there and just like people watch.
Yeah.
Just watch people, more or less. That's what I used to do. It actually helped me get reinvigorated for things I wanted to do. But now I can't really do that here, but I can still go for walks and look at people funny. That sounded weird. I don't mean like that. I mean like just look at people as they go about their day-to-day business. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Like that's definitely something that's nice to do. I'm never a huge fan of people watching, but I will say the biggest thing for me was not people, honestly, like people watching was really fun for me to do in VR chat. It's fun to people watch in VR chat public worlds.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just go to a pug and you just like sit down and just listen to people and just like
take in the weird shit.
Yeah, take in the really weird stuff that people are talking about.
Yeah.
Like last night before I was in, like I guess I can talk about it now. We're in VR chat. So last night I was just people watching in the pug, and I was just like vibing with these random group of people. They were just dancing and whatnot for no reason. And then suddenly, like, one of them busted out, the stereotypical Mexican accent of like, oh, olale, that kind of accent. And his friends got in on it, and they all turned to like these mariachi desperado looking guys, and one of their friends started playing like really like Mexican music, and they started going around the pub like trying people to join them, and I joined them. And that's just what happens in VR chat, and we started world hopping. Just like getting people to join us. It was amazing. So it is now canon lore that Celestia joined a mariachi band for no good reason other than it was fun.
Interesting.
That's the best part of VR chat that you can do. It's just like you go to a public lobby and just things happen.
Like these situations.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's like the time we hung in a public world lobby.
It's like
Ember, and we chased the Knuckles.
You know what vibe I get from VR chat public lobbies? You know what kind of vibe I get from VR chat public lobbies?
What kind of vibe do you get from VR chat public lobbies?
It's like it feels like being at like a anime convention hotel lobby at 2 a.m.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It really does feel like that, though. That's the thing. You're not wrong, and I hate the fact you're not wrong about that.
Like it's just fucking fantastic. Everyone's like everyone, like a lot of the hotel staff is like, out for the day, so it's like everyone just goes hog wild. Everyone's shit faced. So it's like everyone's just doing whatever they fucking want.
Or if it's 24-hour convention at a convention center, they'll be hanging out in the main lobby area, blasting loud music, while like playing Magic the Gathering or like dancing. We're just doing some weird,
let's
wacky
be real.
shit.
Some of the hotel staff usually are hanging out with the condos.
That's what happens at a few conventions I went to. Just hang out with us, and they're like, "Hey, what kind of books do you like reading?" I don't read books. You crazy?
Yeah, they're just trying to learn, but. Oh god.
I feel that.
I mean that's the vibe I get from that, and it's magical. It's so magical. Like honestly, VR chat's pretty fucking dope.
So if you feel like you're not talking to people enough, just hang out in VR chat public lobby.
Don't buy the fucking metaverse for that. You have VR chat.
You go to VR chat. Just go to VR chat.
Because that's been good for me. Because like I live in a rural area, so it's not like I can just leave my house and just like socialize with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like I have to like drive out. Like I have to drive out at least like 30 minutes to socialize with people. Because I basically live between two towns and they're both like 30 minutes away. So like I can't really just go out on a whim. I mean, I can. That's fair. Almost like excuses, but like at the very least, it's hard, especially like since there's not as much going on with COVID. We're still kind of like we're at the tail end of it, but we're still in the midst of it at the same time. So like people are still like iffy about doing events and stuff like that. So it's like we go out sometimes. Like I usually like go out to a restaurant to eat, I'll go out to eat or something like that. But I haven't been to a bar in years. I haven't been to an anime convention in years now, and it's weird.
I was going to the Katsucon, but I decided against it. Like wholeheartedly. Like no like full cap, no stop. It's just I'm just not gonna go to I just didn't want to go to Katsucon and deal with that shenanigans. And same thing with Anime Boston and whatnot. Like, I want to go, but at the same time, I'm terrified.
It's like it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Bernie Sanders at Anime Boston?
He was.
Did you meet him?
I'd never been to Anime Boston.
But he was. Yeah,
I just know he was. Yeah, he was there for one of his grandchildren, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so wholesome. I love him.
It's the same thing with like the Insane Clown Posse's. What's his name?
Violent J.
Yeah, he's a furry, and his daughter's a furry, and he has a fursuit. That's amazing.
So fucking cool.
It is.
Furries are fucking dope.
I'm just saying, Ember, when the eventual visit happens, the flesh tubers of Celestia and Emberly hang out IRL. We're gonna go to game stores and we're gonna be social.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
100%.
I've like checked out for the last like 5 minutes while you guys just gush about all the stuff that you guys do.
It's
Dang.
okay. Wait,
Y'all aren't a bunch of computer science majors who are just like essentially trapped forever in the forever box of trying to like do your homework.
The forever box.
I mean, I understand
that's what I call
actually.
my dorm room.
I minored in computer science for like 2 semesters, and I dropped that minor because I was failing so much. But it was like I knew a lot of people were in computer science, and I wanted to do computer science, but I eventually ended up doing web coding because it was just way easier. It was way fucking easier.
My girlfriend's a computer scientist.
That and like all I really learned was like fucking HTML and CSS, which is basic bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I actually entered an internship, they're like, "Oh yeah, now you got to learn like jQuery, JavaScript, this and that," and I'm like, they didn't fucking teach me any of this. Well, time to go to Stack Overflow.
Oh boy, I'm going to the closet, everyone. See you later.
Computer science is like 90% Stack Overflow, even for your work. And like, the best thing about my game class is that he gets that. My professor's like, oh yeah, just provide a link of where in Stack, like what Stack Overflow post you got it from. I'm like, hey, that works. No, it's like, because that's the one thing I'll say that in computer science it's hard is that like as I've gotten to the upper electives, I know. I don't like it at all. Wait, are there any questions, or can I, or like?
No, you
I feel like for computer science, it's like I have a lot of respect for people who are computer science majors because I at least in my university, the failure rate for it is high.
It was the same in my university.
Is that accurate?
Yeah. Well, I want to call it high, but it's like okay. So for example, we have a class that actually, the one thing I hate about computer science in the school sometimes is that, like, some of the names are just so generic or, like, obtuse that we just call them by their number. So we got a class called 281, and the official title is Data Structures and Algorithms. We call it the Weeder class because once you hit that class, you'll know if you want to be in computer science or not. Because for the first time, you're doing these coding projects where the time and memory you use matters. So for the first time, you're doing these big-ass solutions that could take that a single like the way you plan your algorithm is the difference between your code running forever or running in 5 seconds. It's that kind of code.
Jesus.
The first project is a maze algorithm solver. You want to know how you have to do the maze algorithm? You basically get the maze, you start at the end point, and then you take the north, south, east, west positions. And for every north, south, east, west position, you take that point, add the north, south, east, west positions. You basically do that repeatedly until you get back to the first step, and then you iterate through all those processes again until you get back to the maze. And then you got buttons that open and close doors. So how do you represent buttons that open and close doors? Instead of, you create basically a clone of the maze, but with the doors removed, and then you have to do the north, south, east, west algorithm again on that. That's the first fucking project.
My brain hurts real bad.
And
that sounds about right. Yeah.
And like eventually you have to solve the traveling salesman problem, which is like a hell of a lot easier.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, but like that's what's thing about computer science is that like everyone hates that class, but everyone also simultaneously loves it because that class is basically all the types of interview questions that you're going to be answering, right? Like when someone asks, like, okay, given an array of numbers, like what's the easiest way to check if these two numbers exist in this array, or like if these two consecutive numbers exist in an array, and then something, oh, sort it, and then like, yeah, but that runs an n log n, and then like me, I'm a senior, I took all these courses, and even now I'm like, what the fuck is n log n? I know what it is, but like, do I care? No. Like web design is, what's cool about computer science at least is, a lot of companies are dumb, so they will pay you $100K salary to fill out fucking spreadsheets.
Jesus,
and that's the
kind of job I
want to do. That's the kind of job I want to do, because then if I ever do get back into streaming, I do that there, my brainless work, and then I go home and I play fucking video games and I have a blast. And it's like, that's the kind of work I want to do.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
And all my friends are like, oh yeah, like I want to work in AI. I want to work in game development. Like, also, gaming Twitter, y'all are fucking spoiled ass bitches.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean by that?
I am really upset. Like, I remember the whole trend was like, someone was like, "Hey guys, look at how lazy Horizon Zero Dawn is by reusing like animations," and I'm like, and like everyone clicked it like way to prove that you've never done a day of work in your life, that you don't understand what it means to actually make games or what it is in the film. Like the same way that people bitch about Disney, like, you know, tracing the steps and everything. One, it's Disney. They can trace. It's not plagiarism if you're doing it to yourself. And two, you know how long hand animation fucking takes? Why not reuse the same?
There's zero issues reusing assets. Like, let's all talk for example, the most famous and most well-renowned first-person shooter of the 90s, Doom, and Doom 2, which was 90% reused assets from the first game. But they did make new monsters and a new weapon for Doom 2. But majority of it was reused assets. And you know what the thing is that no one complained about it back then.
Yeah,
it's so weird to me.
Yeah, it's honestly it's in my opinion, it's the purity culture. People are obsessed with the idea of something being pure, something being unique and new. In the same way that people can hear objectively bad singing, but because it's not autotune, they think it's better. Even though like everyone uses autotune because, god damn it, do you really want to re-sing the same 5-minute song? Would you rather put some editing into it? Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. So I think also that's an issue of the hustle culture as well, of like people who think like just because you work hard on something that means you'll get your just rewards. That is not true. Like, and I said that in like as a VTuber as well, was that like I think one of my biggest posts I ever got was the like, you know, like the whole how it started, how it's going trend.
Yeah.
Like that was, to me, that was an example of like people just trying to be proud of what they were doing. But to me, it rubbed me the wrong way because you would only see the success stories and no one else felt confident. So I showed them, I started with 3.7 viewers and today I had 3.5 viewers. It doesn't get better for everyone and you shouldn't let it discourage you.
I remember when you did that and you got shit on by people.
No, I didn't get shit on. I was 90% praised. One person who was the hustle culture that everyone dogpiled. And I'm like, guys,
I didn't see that.
Take it easy on that.
I didn't see that at all.
Did people shit on me? Did people shit on me? I don't know.
Some people were. You know how like you're too focused on the negatives, blah blah blah. Just like, yeah, okay, you guys, shut up.
It's like the toxic positivity crowd.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I hate that crowd. That's a topic for another time, though.
Yes.
Because we are running low in time, everyone.
And it's like
17 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But oh my god, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Not my fault.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's like the how it started, how it's going. Yeah, it's like it comes down to like people treating Twitter as a highlight reel. You only really see like the people who are really successful, because the people who are not, they're not going to post their shortcomings. They're not going to post like about their struggles. You know, it's just because it's hard. Like the people who fail. You know, and it's one of those things too where it's just like, there are some people who generally put in a lot of hard work and they don't see any success from it. Because at the end of the day, again, what you have is a product. And if the product you make isn't what people want or what people like or want to see, then no matter how hard you work on it, it just won't become successful. And
exactly.
Like, as sad as it is to say, it's just true. It's like running any business. Because the thing is, the reality is, like, most businesses fail within the first 2 years. Yeah. Like most businesses that are started fail within the first 2 years.
100%.
There's a reason why, like, you know, investing in startup companies are considered one of the most volatile investments you could possibly make. It is because most businesses do fail.
And what's interesting is that when a big business fails, right? Like, there's nothing more they can really do. If like one of us fail, we're still kind of alive. We're still technically around. We're still there to bitch about it and try to like keep people like, hey, doesn't always work out. But like, it's survivorship bias, and that's always been that's always been true in any sort of medium, is that the survivorship bias will always like make people think that just because I did it, you guys can too. And like, that's how pyramid schemes work as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
exactly. 100,000%.
I also would like to say right now
is that because I've been studying YouTube like a motherfucker, and my YouTube channel actually does all right.
Hey, we're back. But
we're back.
Yeah, but I don't think it's worth it.
But yeah, so we were talking about like YouTube. This is kind of like YouTube versus Twitch discussion almost.
All right, let's get into
yeah,
it.
So okay, cool. Yeah, so I know you mentioned like how like your VODs don't do well on YouTube, and you feel like you should just stream on YouTube because of like a lack of exposure on Twitch.
Well, no, I just don't upload my. I feel like my VODs on Twitch aren't good. I feel like my streams aren't good enough to put on YouTube, so I just don't do it.
So yeah, so the thing about YouTube that's very important, because I've studied it a good bit. I've uploaded some pretty good videos. I mean, my YouTube does okay. My YouTube does okay. And from what I've learned, the thing about YouTube that's really important is that you can't just upload VOD. Because if you just upload your VODs, you're not really gonna get like a lot of viewership to that. Because the thing about YouTube is that you have to make your content searchable. You have to make it so that people find it, and that you have to make it so that those people stick around and watch it. Right? So you have to you kind of have to tailor your content towards YouTube if you want to be successful on YouTube. Like, so what do I mean by that? So it's like you got like for instance, you want to make it's very important to build a basis of evergreen content. So like a big example of evergreen content on YouTube is say doing like VTuber tutorials, right? People are always looking up VTuber tutorials. So like that's going to be content that's evergreen. People will always be viewing it. There will always be views going towards that video. So what you'd want to do is like maybe you do a stream, right? Where like you teach people how to make a VTuber model, or you teach people how to like do this certain bit of code in Unity. Because I know you've been doing game dev stream. You could do like a tutorial stream, and cut it down to the point where maybe it's like an hour and a half. Like you could make it a shorter stream thing, or you can like transition to something else if you do longer streams. But either way, you cut it down and then you put it onto YouTube as a video.
Yeah.
And that video will continuously get traffic because those people want to learn, because you will get viewers from people who are seeking to learn about said thing you're teaching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's what's hard though, is because like I don't want to like make and that's the one thing is that like about my whole Twitch long was like, I realized I am inherently just a lazy person. I don't making content is hard,
Oh, it is 100%.
And like I
also,
love
I think we lost Ember.
I love the
way.
simplicity of just wait, did we go offline again?
No, yeah.
Oops.
No,
I think we're back. We're back. I'm looking at the stream right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but like what's hard about it is that like when you have a taste for streaming, right? You realize how easy it is just to hit go live and just don't think about it, right? And
yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
just
100%.
stream, right? And I love doing that because like I perform like I don't like doing planned content because I'm not good at it. Like I can write an essay script, but do I really want to do that? Do I really want to write an essay? Or I can just play the game and let Jesus take the wheel. And so like doing stuff like tutorials and whatnot would probably be good for my channel, especially given like this type of stuff I'm making. But it's also that, for lack of a better word, gonna be asked to actually make. I gotta actually check, make sure what I'm doing is actually good. And all my game dev streams, I've all just been like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just doing this. I'm just doing what works, and I'm praying to God it works.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's like. So for me, it's like that's why I think like YouTube is harder to make. Now, on the other hand, if I'm playing a video game and like there are all these just best moments and whatnot, I would definitely take the time to cut stuff down because I feel like, oh, I do have a strong basis for this video to exist. Like, and the problem is like when all the games you barely like video games in the first place anymore, and two, the games that you do happen to like are just very like out of the spotlight and whatnot. It's very disheartening to put a lot of effort into a video and have it not do well. And that's what I'll always admire from like people who make these YouTube channels, is that like the effort that they put in there is fucking impressive.
Oh, it's bonkers.
Yeah, and it's like that's a lot of willpower to do all that, knowing the God that like the return on investment is not high. I always admire that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like a high return on investment, but like really, but the best way to do it is to like, and this is phrased by like one of my YouTuber friends who's actually like who does it professionally full time. She tells me basically like her Twitch streams are more or less like content farms, quote unquote, for YouTube, because she can do like meme react streams or like tier list streams or anything like that, and that's content that translates to YouTube seamlessly. Like tier list videos, they're like all over. They still do pretty well on YouTube. You know, meme react videos, they do well on YouTube. Or react to anything does great on YouTube, and it's just it flows seamlessly with a stream and as well with that. So like that's stuff that just works, you know. But the thing like why I mentioned like tutorial videos and stuff is because again it's evergreen, so like it'll always continuously get views. So like for instance, like a lot of my like I did a lot of like voice training videos and stuff. They still get views to this day. And I took like a month and a half hiatus, and I still had like over 1,000 views going to my YouTube channel over the past month, even though I didn't upload anything. You know, nice. So it's just like it's kind of passive, and it's like the thing about YouTube, it's a very low like return on investment. But the thing is, every video you make creates a snowball effect. Where like if you get videos that continuously get views, and as you make more videos that continuously get views, it just snowballs. And then now like it just gets easier to get subscribers, and as the algorithm works in your favor, you get more views on your other videos you upload, and so on and so forth.
It just works.
Like
it works.
It's a lot more. I like it. I like it better in a sense, because it's like it's almost like okay, like all that effort I put into a video I made like almost 6 months ago, it's still giving me views now. Like that is fine. Whereas like that Jay Chill just chatting stream I did last week does nothing for me now.
That's fair.
Like, does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
No, that makes plenty sense. And that's why like I feel confident. Like recently I'm thinking about starting my another XCOM playthrough, which I really want you guys to join. Like can you like I don't know if I promoted it in the server, but I made that one Twitter. I made a Twitter post.
Yeah.
I might pin that, but like because I started I like randomly I just got videos from this guy that's like, oh, I beat XCOM using just this one class, over 100,000 fucking views. I'm like, wait, people still watch XCOM content on YouTube?
So
it doesn't exist. I'm like, damn.
Let me give you a tip. So another great thing about YouTube is the third-party software you can use with it. Because the thing about YouTube is that you can actually type in and do like keyword research, and it will tell you exactly, you know, if you look up, say you want to make XCOM videos, you'll know exactly how much competition is in that niche, how many people are searching for that every month, and what the overall, you know, what the overall outlook of that would be if you made videos in that area. And I'm looking at it right now. It's actually pretty fucking good. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm looking at right now. I'm gonna go.
If you go live, it fucks up.
Yeah, don't. We'll do it after the show's over. Which, by the way, we are at 10. We are at our time limit.
But
fucking,
like we can go. I can go long.
No, I am fading over here.
Oh, okay, you're
I mean, I don't mind chilling for like 20, 30 minutes after the stream, but like, my fucking iPhone just died.
Oh
no! There goes her trash. Oh no! Well,
I can point at her. Look at this.
Look at her! Look at her! Look at her!
Yeah,
look
at me not having. Which is funny. I bought this fucking like phone bracket so that I could set up a charger, and I still forget to do it.
Alrighty then, though. So, Azazel, I want you to hit them with your socials.
Yeah, do some stuff.
No, I'm joking.
Oh my god!
It's like it's there. Look at the screen.
Collect the clout.
But the thing is that
no, that is fair.
That's fair, but not everyone's gonna look at it though.
I'm joking. No, yeah, no. Twitch.tv/DemonQueenAzazel. It's right there. My Twitter handle is DQAzazel. Please make more Dairy Queen jokes. So far, the only one I've gotten is from Ember, and I like it, but goddamn.
One day she'll get sponsored by Dairy Queen. One day.
And